friend of mine that I keep in contact on these videos with, I've made a lot of videos talking about race. And, he called me on it. He, in essence, put it to me that the stuff Trump's doing is not about race. It's a free market thing, that we're going into neofeudalism. I agree. The purpose of this video is to explain that in depth, my philosophy on that it isn't about race. Now, he gets it, and anybody else probably gets this too, that a lot of what Trump does isn't about race, and Trump doesn't care white people. He doesn't care white folks. And a lot of the folks that voted for him were upper-class white people. That's true. But the rhetoric is wrapped into the American flag. It is wrapped under white supremacy. And white supremacist groups use the Blue Lives Matter flag. They use Trump memorabilia, the hats, to represent something. Now, we can talk about whether or not it's about race or not, but the fact still remains, Trump empowers racists. He empowers them. We've got to understand that if we are to understand Trump. Now, does he care about them? No, I don't think he cares. I think it's kind of like when Trump talks about, he was talking about the Iranian people rising up against the government. He wasn't talking about that in that he was going to do anything for them. He was just talking about, like, look, if you do it, it helps us. But that wouldn't benefit them. But if you listen to that and you don't know America's history, you'll buy into it. What did America do with the Kurds after the storm? First George Bush, I think it was Clinton. First George Bush was pushing for the Kurds to revolt against Saddam, and he murdered a bunch of them. The Americans did nothing to help them. Same thing. It doesn't benefit you. And if you get in trouble, he's not going to back you up. But Trump, he wraps his rhetoric in the American flag. He wraps he puts his rhetoric in between two pieces of white bread, in essence. I understand that there's white folks in the struggle. I understand there's white folks that are hurt by white supremacy. Listen, let me be very clear with this. White supremacy to me is like a guard dog. And you've had folks that have used that guard dog for a very long time. I think that now, going along with what my friend here mentioned about neofeudalism, under neofeudalism and under mandatory minimums and under civil asset forfeiture, you have white folks being hooked up into the system, being caught up in the system, just like black people. It's a little bit different, but they're definitely being hurt more than they were 30, 40 years ago. And I think that due to that, some white folks are realizing it, and that's why you have them walk around with guns and stuff. That's why you have this stuff, when they went up there to Richmond with the rifles. I think that's what that really represents. It represents white folks losing power. It represents, and it represents that they realize that I'm losing power. And I've spoken on this before. No one wants to talk about this, I guess, with me, but white people are where black people were in the 70s. That's how I see white people. You're where black folks were in the 70s. With the Black Panthers, CORE, SNCC. That's what the alt-right is. Except they're not fighting for anything but the right to be racist. Whereas we were fighting for the right to be equal human beings. It's a difference. What was it? The people in the house in Philly, the CORE, where they bombed the house. Look that up. You're not gonna go to war with the American government. And I think these white folks running around with rifles and I need to put some pictures on here one day of what I saw with the helmets and the rifles and the vests. You're not going to stand up to the U.S. government. You're not going to war with the U.S. government. We learned it. Black folks went through that, baby. That's over, man. That's over. You're not going to take the U.S. government, man. And I think that that's a mistake for the right, because I think if they do that, I think it delegitimize them completely. I really do. Trying to openly go out here and fight the U.S. government. But I understand that white folks are hurt too. And I understand this system hurts them. I get it. It's like it hurts everybody else. I tell my family that. I get it. But it's still important to recognize what it's camouflaged in, and that's hate. Trump's rhetoric, that's what it's wrapped in, is hate. Does he care white people? No. When they asked him, would there be a recession or whatever after he got out of office, he didn't care. So what? I won't be president then. And no one say anything about that. I've never heard a president do that. Like, he doesn't care about what happened. Like, he's the last U.S. president. In essence, like, whatever happens after Trump doesn't matter. Peace.